Hello everyone, it's me, Coffee Stitcher. We are going into the last week of February. We've got one more Sunday, so I fortunately didn't have to get March goals ready yet. But, here we are. To everyone out there in Texas, the South, that are still dealing with the fallout from this last week, you're definitely in my thoughts. We came through fairly unscathed. We live right by a major hospital, so we never lost power. So we just sort of hunkered down. I don't know why I got all southern with that. But to those that are out there and are still struggling with water and power, you're definitely in my sympathies. So, before we go into the normal video, which is, as we all know, Q&A, haul, whips, I actually have a small, not really small, I have an announcement. First and foremost, this forthcoming announcement is not going to affect my Instagram or my weekly floss tube videos. Those are still going forward. That isn't changing. However, after much long and labored discussion, Katie and I have decided that we will be closing StitchMaynia June the 1st. We will be archiving the group, which means that the group will still be available to go back and reference, look at pictures, search. You just won't be able to post or comment, or I'm not even sure if you'll be able to like responses or not. And we are no longer accepting new memberships. This was a lot of discussion. There was a lot of discussion, really, that went into it. When we started Mania 7 years ago, Katie and I, and Stitching as an online community, were in a very different place in our lives. But now there are so many wonderfully diversified groups, so many designers that have their own, so many even individual projects that have their own groups, that Mania has become a little obsolete in a lot of ways. And Katie and I just don't have the time or the energy that it takes to devote to a group the size of StitchMaynia. And that's not a bad thing. And honestly, I'm thrilled to have seen the community explode the way it has. The challenge groups, the different SALs, the motivational tools, it's all fabulous, and it's been so wonderful to have been a part of helping grow that. But like all things, it's time for us to move on. And 7 years is a good run. 7 years is the Golden Girls. 7 years is the West Wing. 7 years is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We made the decision very long ago that we weren't going to do the group without the other one. We were too in sync with each other. We got along. We understood what the other was thinking. We never really had any qualms or quibbles with each other. So we decided, even though people have suggested time and time again that we should add other admin, that was not an avenue we wanted to pursue. And likewise, when we closed the group, we weren't going to pursue passing it on to new ownership. Sort of like how when a show changes showrunners during middle of the series, you get some very questionable changes and decisions, and people come back at you wanting to know, well, why? And if we're not in charge and we're not affiliated, we can't answer that. So versus trying to pass the torch to someone else, we've made the decision that we would love for people to respect, to not try and carry on the name. The event, by all means, if you want to have StitchMaynia May in your own groups, that is perfect. I absolutely support and love that idea. We just ask that you don't name your groups StitchMaynia. Because at the end of the day, what'll happen is people will still think Katie and I are involved, and they'll message us, and we just don't want to deal with that. And if that makes us bad people, that makes us bad people. But that's how we feel, and we did create the group, so there you go. Similarly related to this, we will not be continuing StitchMaynia, the talk show. We're looking into options for Patreon to see if we can refund, or we'll be reaching out individually or maybe even on the Patreon page to find out how the funds need to be allocated if refunds aren't an option. But that'll be coming, so please do bear with us while we figure that part out. While we're very proud of the episodes we put out, they do take a lot of time and energy that Katie doesn't have, and I really don't either. So we're keeping our group open through the end of May. So one last Mania hurrah, and then we'll be archiving it on June the 1st. As those of you who are on Facebook or follow me on Instagram, I purposely locked the comments on my announcement posts simply because I don't necessarily want y'all to just do a whole lot of loving or angry responses. If you wish to comment, please feel free, but please know I'm not making the announcement looking for responses. I hope that makes sense. So anyway, that's kind of where we are. I'm so grateful for Mania. I'm grateful for the friendships that I've made through Mania. And I'm grateful to everyone who wanted to join us on this overly crazy ride that we've had over the last 7 years. So, that being said, moving right along to this week's Q&A. I've got to move the screen a little. Michelle Bindi Stitchy asks a very good question. She says, "You're so close on that frosted pumpkin piece. How do you decide when it's time just to push through for a finish and buck the rotation a bit?" A lot of the times it really depends on just how close of a finish it is. If it's something that I look at and go, you know what, I could sit down and focus real hard for 2 days and this would be done, then a lot of times I'll just go ahead and do it. Or if my monthly goal took less time than anticipated, I'll go ahead and do it. Or sometimes there'll be something that precipitates that, like I wanted to get Jack's Halloween Dream done in time to start Chinese Zodiac, so I kind of pushed a little harder to get that one taken care of. So there's a lot of factors that sort of come into play, that probably being the biggest. Brandy Mills asks, "Who is that on the cover of the Framed Life magazine behind you? I paused it when you leaned over, but there was glare on the face, and I couldn't make it out." So it is, and unfortunately, yeah, there is glare on the face. There we go. You can sort of see better now. That is Carol Channing's first cover of Life magazine that she was on for her flop musical, The Vamp. And then up above is, I'll tilt that up, Carol when she was in Hello Dolly originally, and it made the cover of Life. So, those are my two. That's my Carol support and my friend support. Giovanna Betancourt says, "I had no idea you do felt projects. What kind of projects do you do?" Well, currently the only one I've got going is a felt stocking from Bucilla. And I haven't done enough for it to really matter what you're going to see, but I'll show you what the cover of it, what the finished one will look like. So that's the one I'm currently working on. So I've got that part done. So not really a lot to look at. But still fun nonetheless. Right, but I've also done, y'all probably remember from other videos, the Wizard of Oz felt stocking that I've done. I also did a set of felt dolls that I turned into garland, but it's not really easy to show. So I've done some. Right. That takes us into the haul for the week. So this week I actually did manage to get some haul, which was surprising considering our weather and the fact that we didn't get mail except for maybe one day. It was my January and my February nest eggs from 3L Threads. So, we've got the last of the wool from Gentle Arts. There's a couple that are sort of random in here. So we've got Sage, Tradewind, and Wood Trail. We've got Chalk, Walnut, and Fisherman's Wharf. And Verdigris and Wisteria. And then we've got our Krynics. So we've got one called Oyster, one orange one that I can't quite make out what it's actually called, one called Pale Pink, one called Pale Yellow, and then we've got Pale Green, Passion Plum, Mallard, and Olive Moss. Right, so I decided I'm actually only going to continue with the Krynic for now. I've got so much floss that I don't know what to do with right now, so I really don't need to keep adding to. But that was it in terms of haul for this week. Which, like I said, should not surprise anyone, given that I'm surprised I even got this in. I know I've got something for Fortnite coming, I've got something for Fire Poppies coming, so there's some stuff that will be coming, and will hopefully be here next week. Alright, so, what did I work on this week? Well, I'm glad you asked. So, quilting-wise, yesterday, I made this little Cathedral Burst pincushion. It's not perfect, but considering I didn't know what the heck I was doing, I'm actually very pleased with it. I also made this log cabin chicken pincushion. Isn't this adorable? Apparently I'm a chicken person now. I had no idea. And yes, I have seen the new Tiny Modernist chicken piece and their Secret Garden piece, and it's just like, really, Cheryl, must you give me so many cute things? But how cute is this little guy? I made his comb a little too big. Actually, he's bigger than I thought he was gonna be. That's okay, he's still cute. Alright, so I worked on Sense and Sensibility from Stitching Book Club, and I finished part 1, so here it is. There we go. I really love the colors of this. I'm really looking forward to seeing what's coming next with it. I'm also looking forward to figuring out what the hell happened to the 3829 that I had, because I cut a length off of it. I can't find it to save my life now. Hopefully I don't need a whole lot more of it. Then I worked on the March Hige story. So this one was called Cozy Windowsill, and it's so cute, y'all. This is on Hedgehog from Picture This Plus, or not Picture This Plus, Fortnite Fabric. How cute is that? I'm so thrilled by both how well my macrame hanging plant turned out, and with the little beads, I'm absolutely tickled pink. So here's the full set of them as of now. So I'm a fourth of the way done with the series. But it's so cute. I just love it. So, and these are by New Leaf Craft on Etsy. Highly recommend them. They're a lot of fun. They are, and after you get out, actually, of the first January, February, and March, you don't get a whole lot of craziness in terms of stitching, like specialty stitches and stuff. Although I may see if I can figure out a way to add some more in because I really like them. So, I worked on those. I worked on, since I didn't work except for Friday, I didn't get as much done on Zodiac. I did manage to get both of these 2 frames done, so I am going to take it to work and try and at least finish out the other 2 frames, and then try this week as well to finish my goal for this one. So, tying in though to what Michelle was asking me earlier. Falling. Okay, hang on. I can do this. This chair is really tall. So I'm very, very close to a finish on Spring Garden Party from Frosted Pumpkin. I've just got that top banner to do. So I think I'm actually going to work on that today and see if maybe I can get it finished. That because starting in March, hosted Abby, Bella, Stitch, and a couple other people are starting. I don't remember what the hashtag is, but I will find it and I'll put it in the comments below. In light of the attacks on Asian Americans that are horrendous, and I've been neglectful in posting about to my Instagram stories, and I will be better about that, I do promise. They are doing she's promoted the idea of doing an Asian-themed Stitch Along for the month of March. And I don't really want to do a new start as much as I would love to do a start. I really don't need to. So my goal is going to be to pull out and try and finish, because I've only got 3 little parts left, but try to finish Chinese Zodiac by by Frosted Pumpkin. But I have to get Garden Party done first. So, that's the plan. All right. Okay. So at least that's kind of the plan. So I'm going to work on Garden Party today. I'm going to keep working on Clouds Factory Zodiac. And then we'll see where we are by the end of next week. Next week, new WhipGo goals will be up and available, so we'll know what our WhipGo is going to be for March. Yay! I'm personally hoping that we get the 3 FFO board number called. That would be awesome. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyhow, I hope everyone is doing great and has a wonderful rest of their week, and I will see y'all next week.